staying on the topic of trailers, it has been pretty much accepted that with the upcoming Super Bowl, which is like the number one movie trailer day of the year, this Super Bowl, that's when all the big trailers drop, right? That amongst the trailers that are going to be playing on the Super Bowl, that one of them would be Avengers Doomsday, because we heard some reports about that. And one of them would be for Spider-Man Brand New Day, the upcoming, not too distant future Spider-Man movie that's on its way, coming in the summer. Well, apparently, according to a report in Deadline, we are going to get some Disney trailers, but neither of them are going to be Doomsday or Spider-Man. And you know what? It logically actually kind of makes sense. This comes to us from Deadline, who writes the following. Disney never sits out, and it's just a matter of how much they'll have. It would come as no surprise to see spots for Pixar's Hoppers on March 6th, and Lucasfilm's The Mandalorian and Grogu coming on Memorial Day, May 22nd. Note, the last Star Wars movie to get a big game spot was 2018 Solo: A Star Wars Story. Pixar's Toy Story 5 could also make a show June 19th. Word is, this is coming from Deadline, word is Marvel Studios, which has Avengers Doomsday on December 18th and Spider-Man Brand New Day with Sony on July 31st, is sitting out in what's arguably a Super Bowl anomaly. In years past, they've had movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, Thunderbolts, and more. Dwayne Johnson, who typically is no stranger to the spotlight during the Super Bowl, remember Skyscraper, is not expected to do any stunts for his live-action take of Moana on July 10th, but who knows, Johnson likes to surprise. All right. It should be noted here that the decision to or not to put a Spider-Man trailer in the Super Bowl is not Disney's decision. That's Sony's decision because they are the distributor of the film. They have sole executive power to decide where and when to put trailers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So there's that. That's a bit of an anomaly. But the fact that Disney would not run a trailer for Avengers Doomsday, a movie that is admittedly still very, very far off, but when you consider how creative and robust and hardcore they're going to go on the marketing campaign for this movie, you'd figure they do one for Super Bowl. But here's why I actually think it might make sense. There's two reasons why it may make sense that they don't play the Avengers Doomsday trailer at Super Bowl, even though I'm one of the people who kind of thought they would. Number one, the movie will still be 10 months away. That's an awful long runway. Any buzz you create now is kind of going to dissipate by the time you get into August and September. So is there really a function to do it other than awareness? But you can make an argument they've already done a very good job of raising awareness that this movie is coming. But here's the second reason why this kind of makes sense, if true. And it's the fact that we all have to understand, as much as we think about companies like Marvel and others as having all the money in the world, they don't have all the money in the world. Even they have to budget. And one of the things you got to budget is your marketing campaign. Playing a Super Bowl ad is incredibly expensive. And like Deadline points out in this article, they really do need to raise awareness more for Hoppers. You all know, I don't think Mandalorian and Grogu is positioned to do all that well. So that's one that certainly needs a big push. And Toy Story 5, given the after effects and the aftermath of Buzz Lightyear, that wasn't so good, you could expect that maybe that movie could use a big Super Bowl bump. Basically, what I'm saying is that if you're Disney and you've got X amount of dollars to spend on marketing spends and X amount of dollars to spend at the Super Bowl, which is probably going to come in at like $3 million for 30 seconds, you got to pick and choose strategically. Do we really need to raise awareness for Avengers Doomsday right now? We're doing a pretty good job of it, and we probably don't need to do it more 10 months out. And we've got these other movies that do need that push. Hoppers needs that push. Mandalorian and Grogu needs that push. Toy Story 5 could really benefit from that push. By the way, all movies that are coming long before Avengers Doomsday comes out. So while I sit here as somebody who really did think they would do a trailer at Super Bowl, I did. And while this article does not definitively say as a fact that it won't, they say word is they won't do it. So who knows? It's still theoretically possible. Rob, I got to say that it would make sense if they don't. They've got other movies to spend the money on. Avengers is still going to be 10 months away. I mean, Spider-Man Brand New Day is another thing. I really would have thought Sony would drop the money and that take advantage of that, but maybe they don't feel that they need to. Guys, we want to take a second and thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Well, the big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than with PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. With the football season coming to a close, this is your last chance to jump into football action before next year, and PrizePicks is making it easy by giving you $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. What I've always loved about PrizePicks is how simple it is. You're just picking more or less on player projections, building your lineup, and rooting at home while you watch the game. I also really like their early payouts feature. If a player gets off to a hot start, you can cash out before the game even ends. And with the new social feed, you can follow other players, copy lineups that you like, or use them as inspiration for your own. So don't miss out. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. But anyway, Rob, you read this article. Surprised, not surprised? Do you think it's wrong? Do you think we are going to get one regardless? I don't know. What do you think about this whole thing?
No, I mean, like we've talked about, Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out in July, like toward the end of July.
Yeah.
So, and Avengers Doomsday comes out literally at the end of next year, or the 18th of December. So, and we're mere weeks off the heels of the fourth teaser that they had for Avengers Doomsday, and those teasers got over 1 billion views. They're riding high on that. They've already done their job. Everybody's excited. Now, they could show, and the online speculation has continued to be a tsunami of people making videos and talking about the movie. So why bother? You know, why not kick it into gear in May or something? You know, and maybe we'll get a Brand New Day trailer before that, but there's no rush. People know, you know, it's coming. It's not like they need to. They don't need to gin up awareness for Avengers Doomsday. It's probably still the most talked about thing online. So why spend the cash? They'll spend it later elsewhere, and we'll be talking about it no matter what. And also, I mean, it makes sense that they're pushing movies that are coming out sooner. There's only so much money, like you pointed out, that they can spend on marketing, and Disney's got a lot of stuff coming out. So I think it makes sense. I mean, look, would I have liked to see a trailer? Yeah. I want to see a full Doomsday trailer. I mean, I really do. But I'm going to watch it anyway, whenever it comes out. Right. And for the big game, there's a lot to do. So I only care that the Seahawks win, John, which they will.
Now, again, listen, to the point of, there is no doubt that Marvel is going to have, and Disney are going to have, a robust, generous, healthy-sized marketing budget for this movie. Oof. The biggest marketing spends they've ever made were on Infinity War and Endgame, and look at the results. They're going to do that again. But, Rob, like you pointed out, you've got these 3 other films of your Disney that are all coming out much sooner and need the help more. And, you know, I see some people in the live chat also mentioning, you know, you still got NBA finals and you still got Stanley Cup finals.
You got the Academy Awards.
World Cup, and you got Academy Awards, and you got all these types of things. To which you might say, well, those aren't as popular as the Super Bowl.
And the Winter Olympics.
True. And they're not as popular as the Super Bowl. But the ad spend's going to be a lot cheaper on those ones,
and they're
too.
closer to launch date.
And they're much closer to launch date. Again, and I say all this as somebody who, prior to today, truly believed we would get an Avengers Doomsday trailer at Super Bowl. And it's still possible they do, Rob. I mean, we can't discount that. Again, I want to be careful about the wording and deadline. They're saying word is that Marvel's going to skip promoting that at Doomsday. That doesn't necessarily mean they will. And by the way, you want to know something else?
Yes.
You know what some studios have done in the last couple of years? Drop trailers online during the Super Bowl.
That's what, yep.
While not actually advertising them at the Super Bowl.
We were just talking about that pre-show. I was like, they may drop like the trailers during halftime or something like that.
Yeah.
And,
Yep, or during
the
the
Puppy Bowl.
pregame.
and literally all you need is a 5-second spot. Now, Avengers Doomsday trailer online, and it's
Yeah,
done.
but they don't even have to advertise it on
Yeah.
television. They can literally 20 minutes before kickoff. If they, again, we're not saying that they're doing this. We're speculating here.
Yeah.
They could drop an Avengers Doomsday trailer online and have the word would spread fast. I mean, all this is still possible that they could do it, but it does seem to make sense that they would wait a little while.
I think the baller thing though would have been like, you actually think this is the beginning of the Super Bowl? It's running with like the graphics and everything, and we're live at the Super Bowl in wherever city it's filming from, and all of a sudden it gets like scratchy and Doom takes over the feed or something like that because it's not the intro to the Super Bowl.
You know what I could see them doing? Although they're not, but I
Yeah.
could totally see them doing. Remember the Tourism Australia ad that came out with Chris Hemsworth
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the guy from Eastbound and Down? Why am I forgetting his name?
Yeah.
And people thought they were legitimately making a Crocodile Dundee
yeah.
legacy film, but it was just an ad. I could totally see Disney and Marvel dropping a 30-second Visit Latveria tourism commercial. I could totally see them doing something like that. Again, they're not. I'm
Danny
just
McBride,
saying.
yes, thank you.
Danny McBride, that's what I could totally see them doing something like that. I really could. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Deadline is now suggesting that we're not going to get a trailer for Avengers Doomsday or Spider-Man Brand New Day at the Super Bowl. They're not definitively saying that, but it does seem to make sense why they wouldn't. Or maybe they still drop a trailer during the Super Bowl, but don't advertise it. I don't know. A lot of possibilities. What do you guys think is going to happen here? Whatever you think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.